He says, I tell you what, I'm going to send your brother Grady to the game, and if you play well, you can play. If you don't, you're going to be on that truck, and we're going to go to work. So the game starts, and I'm on the bench. The middle linebacker is playing horribly, and finally he gets hurt. So Coach Brown looks over at me, or Coach People looks over at me and says, hey, Singletary, go in the game, play middle linebacker. The first play, they run a trap play, and you know the trap play, everything's moving fast in front of you, and this huge fullback is running right at me, and I freeze. He's running at me, and I would love to tell you that I stood up and I hit him and I dropped him and I got up, and that was the first play I ever played. It was like, yeah, but it wasn't like that. He came through the line, and I'm there, and I froze, and I went down. And he jumped over my head, and he ran, and I was like, what am I doing? And I got up, and I ran after him, and the next play, it was awful. I played like 3 plays, and they were awful. They were bad. I came to the sideline, and I just started thinking. I'm looking at Grady, and he just kind of looking away. After the game, I'm walking home with Grady. I don't know what to say. I don't know what's going to happen.
You scared?
Yeah, I'm scared that he's going to tell Dad he didn't play well. But Grady looked at me and he said, Mike, you did okay. So he told my dad that I did pretty good. And from that day, you know, they let me play, and I just started playing, and I really loved the game. I knew at that time that I could not exist without football. I just couldn't. I remember the last time I saw Grady, he was getting ready to leave, and he was going out of town. And he called me over, and he said, hey, Mike, whatever you do, make sure you take care of Mom. And he reached in his pocket, and he gave me a $5 bill. And he said, I love you. That's the last time I saw him. The next time I saw him was in the hospital with tubes all in him. And then he's gone.
Killed in a drunk driving accident, 6-car accident. The only person that lives is the drunk driver.
So at this time, I'm thinking my mom was the sweetest woman in the world. And I'm looking at my dad walk away from her and get remarried in a short amount of time and move to the other side of town and buy his new wife a new house that my mom had begged for all of her life. And so I'm looking at that. So it doesn't pay to be good. Then I look at Grady, someone who comes back home, tries to do the right thing, tries to help my mom, tries to help with me. And so now he's gone. So I made a decision that I think many people make. I made a decision to be mediocre. I said, I'm not going to be the best, because when you try to be the best, I'm learning very quickly, when you try to be the best at something, people don't like it. And they start saying things like, who do you think you are? So I said, if I'm mediocre, then people like that. That's what I'm going to be. So my mom walked in the kitchen that morning, and she knew that I had made that decision. She knew that my body language gave it away. And she said, son, I want you to sit down for a minute. I need to talk to you about this thing called life. She said, I know you're hurting, but I want you to know that as I look at you, there's something special about you. There's greatness in you. But if you quit now, you'll never see it. You will never, ever see it. She said, I want you to remember that life is not about how high you climb. Life is about how many times you are willing to get up after stuff knocks you down. And you got to get up, son, and you got to start swinging. And you just got to keep swinging and swinging and swinging until maybe you're the only one left. That's what life is about. Now, she said, I need you to make up your mind because I need you to be the man around the house. When I looked in her eyes, I knew that she believed in me. And because she believed in me, I said, Mom, I can do that. And all of a sudden, this vision came about of all the things that I thought about, but I never had a reason. I never had the strength or the courage to pull them out and write them out. They were just there. So I got up from the table, I looked at my mom, and I said, Mom, I can do that. I will be the man of the house. And I got up and I walked in my room and I got out a sheet of paper and I began to write, and I wrote out my vision statement. And my vision statement said the first thing was to get a scholarship. Somehow, some way, get a scholarship to go to college. Next, get my degree, in which I would become the first in my family to do so. Become an All-American. Get drafted and go to the NFL. Buy my mom a house and take care of her for the rest of her life. Become an All-Pro. Go to the Super Bowl and own my own business.